You're watching Backstage with Cinderella. We sit down with stars Camila Cabello, Idina Menzel, Brosnan, Billy Porter, and director Kay Cannon as they talk about the reimagining of this classic fairy tale. This is Backstage with Cinderella.
Kay, we met at Blockers, and it is great to see you again. How are you?
Great to see you too. How are you?
I have been counting down to talking with you. It's awesome. It's amazing. I have to start out with something funny, though, because I read somewhere that you weren't really a big fan of the original Cinderella. I figured I would go to the source. Is that true or false?
That is true. It feels weird to say that to like this iconic, like, you know, everybody loves the Cinderella fairy tale. But I think as a kid, I was always like, I don't know. It seems like a bunch of people are being mean to each other. Like a bunch of ladies are being mean, and she's like sitting around doing nothing but waiting for to be saved. I think there was like something inside me that was like, I'm not into this. I was more of like an E.T. You know, like Annie was more my deal. Although with Annie too, like, you know.
No, I totally get you. I was like, I just couldn't stand the stepmother in the original. And I was like scarred for years. When I read that about you, I was like, oh my gosh, I felt the same way. So I'm glad you've kind of given it a tune up. You've given it something bright, exciting, and all the characters. I'm not even mad. I'm not trying to spoil anything, but I'm not even mad at the stepsisters, kind of, in this particular version. Crazy. This is your first feature film, and there's another first that's happening right now because the person that is sitting next to you, when I moved into television to cover movies, the very first interview I did was for a little movie that she did called Frozen. You may have heard of it. And Idina was one of my first, along with Josh Gad. So did this experience live up to everything you expected it to be?
Okay. Did it go well?
What, with you? Yeah. Well, the movie I think did okay. They talked about a sequel. I don't remember. I always wondered whatever happened to that Olaf guy and the Elsa, and I'm kidding. Camila, did this experience live up to everything that you expected it to be as far as working on a movie?
More. I feel like we had so much fun and made friends. Hopefully for life. And it was amazing. I mean, I feel like, we're both so proud of this film and what it represents, and the messages that it has. And the experience turned out to be just as, I feel like, rich and wholesome as the messages that the movie has. Mm-hmm. Like it would have been really ironic if the movie like had all these beautiful messages and like the experience was like weird and snarky, and that can happen totally. And it was totally, and it was so not like
that. But it's
that.
because it always comes from the top, and it's because she came to work every day, and
Kay,
she was Kay, the director. But I'm sitting next to you, so I want to, Kafella. but yeah, it was definitely the director and Camila, but the professionalism and her vulnerability, her willingness to be goofy and funny, and it's all on there on the screen, as you can see. And so she allowed us all to just really revel in the whole experience
and revel in my stomach problems from time to time. Remember,
don't tell everybody that.
Pierce, my friend, it's great to see you.
Good to see you, Dave. You sound very content and happy and full of beans.
I am, and also I am sitting in the same exact corner of my house that I was the last time you and I spoke.
I was going to say, I recognize the guitar, the dog, and there you have it. I'm sitting in the same place too, with this wonderful painting behind me of like Kurin Warun.
And as I told you last interview, I follow you on Instagram and I see all the paintings, the wonderful work that you're doing. And by the way, speaking of memories, that's where we're going to start, because I am so glad that you are singing and dancing again, because as you told me at Mamma Mia, you were like, I don't know if I'm going to do this again. And I just started laughing so hard, and I was so proud that you are back to singing and dancing in movies, my friend.
Oh, that's very kind of you, Dave. I must say it was a kick in the pants doing the scene. And, Kay Cannon, who's the writer, director, I said to her, look, the king, we have to sing, I have to sing. I want to sing a song. And so she came up with this kind of wacky idea this kind of nonsensical song where I'm trying to win the heart of my queen back again. And she put me on a big horse with a suit of armor, and the knight in shining armor. It was, it's a classic scene. So thank you very much. I really, it was such a joy to do that. And Minnie Driver is an old friend. We did GoldenEye together, James Bond, and we did another movie with Guy Pearce called Spinning Man. So it was wonderful to have her as my queen.
Hey, Pierce, does this mean that if there is James Bond, the musical, you are all in?
Yep, I am all in, really. Daniel Craig doesn't stand a chance. None of them do. None of them can sing like I do.
I love it. How would you describe Fab G's outfits, outlook on life, and attitude overall?
Fabulous. That's what they, them, he, she, it, ze, za is referred to. Fabulous. It's fabulous. It's all fabulous.
Billy Porter, who I absolutely just adore and love. How involved was he in creating the Fab G character? Because again, he is just awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I wrote it for Billy, so I felt like I got the stamp of approval from him of like what he would say and how he wanted to play this character. So I just tried to write it as best as I could and as funny as I could in his voice. And then like he actually said to me, he goes, this is what all the kids are about to be doing or whatever, for yes, future queen. Yes. And I was like, okay, all right, do that. but like it's just him. Like, I think he read the script and was like, yeah, I'm going to do this. And so hopefully I captured him.
Your director is singing your praises. I just talked with Kay and I asked her, I said, how involved was Billy Porter in creating this character? Because this is Billy Porter that we all know and love. And she said, I wrote it with him in mind. And when he came on board, I was so excited. So I want to know what it felt for you, how much fun it was to become this character. Billy, it's you.
Yeah, well, first of all, to be seen. I spent a lot of time in this business invisible. People talk about be who you are, be your authentic self. Yeah. It's easy to be who you are when what you are is what's popular. Being Black and queer in America has never been popular. So I was invisible for a very long time. So to get the call that Kay Cannon had not only reimagined this Cinderella story for a modern day, but also had me specifically in mind to play the fairy godmother. That's change. That is significant change. And I want to make sure that we talk about that kind of change that has happened in the world, the evolution that has happened in this world, because we talk about the negative so often that we forget the positive that is going on. The positive is Billy Porter is the Fab G in Cinderella. That's change. That's magical change. And so it's significant to me because there's a whole new generation of people that get to have this classic tale told in a way that's relevant for the world in 2021.
Amen to everything that you just said. There are jokes in the film that I love about when your son, the prince in the movie, is talking about your king voice. And I want to know how long it took for you to figure out when you were going to, because I'm a former radio guy and I zero in on things like that. And your king voice is excellent, but how long for you to get it just right where you were happy with your king voice?
Oh, gosh, that's a very good question. The kingly voice, where did the kingly voice come from? I don't know. I may have listened to Prince Charles. I know Prince Charles, not well, but he's a lovely man, a lovely fellow, and I thought of him, and I thought of David Attenborough, and then you kind of begin to, think about Anthony Hopkins, and you think of these voices that resonate within your own inner ear and heart and imagination. And I don't know, it just became that. You ruminate on it, and then you read the script, and you play it in your mind quietly, and then the first day's work comes along, and you're walking down a corridor, and the camera's in front of you, and you have this, and you surprise yourself. You're always a surprise to yourself, especially because you don't rehearse. You're by yourself, and we didn't rehearse the scenes. I mean, you rehearse and shoot, but we didn't have a prelim of rehearsals. So it's always a surprise.
I love it.
Basically filming, you're just shooting rehearsals.
Another story that I wanted to go to the source with, you pitching the cast. And I understand you bought a glass slipper on Etsy, you're agreeing with me, flew to Miami to meet with Camila Cabello. And tell me about that.
Yeah. I mean, Dave, I had like, bags full of like my vision of the movie. Like I had all these 3-ring binders that was like, this is what I think the costumes will look like. And this is what I think of other casting. And I worked with an artist. I did the whole thing. And then I brought this like slipper, and I was like, I told the producers, I was like, I'm thinking about giving her, and I tried to find like a modern looking slipper, glass slipper. And the producers were like, don't do that. That's weird. No, don't give her that. Like, just go to Miami and chat with her and show her your vision of the movie. And so it was like the first 20 seconds or so that I was in her house, I was like, I hesitate to do this. Like I'm opening up the suitcase and I just pull out the slipper immediately. And I'm just like, do you like it?
Is there a specific way that the wand must be held when performing magic tricks? How long did it take for you to master it? And can you give us an example?
It's pop. And I'm very conversational with my hands. So that's how I used it. And then when I specifically, it's time to, hurl magic at somebody, there's a little swirl, a swish, and it's the whole body. It's the whole body, darling.
Where does singing a duet with Idina Menzel rank in the things that you've done and accomplished? I mean, after all, as I mentioned a minute ago, she is Elsa.
I mean, I was so nervous to work with her. And not only Frozen, but Wicked. And I was just saying that Defying Gravity is like one of my favorite songs of all time. And so obviously I like walked into set and I was like, I'd never done a film before. And I was like, I was so nervous. And we just immediately, I feel like connected. And I felt super
I'm nervous when
her.
I come on set too. And I have a host of crazy stuff in my head and things that I contend with. So, and it was,
I'm sorry. No, go ahead. I was just going to say that, and every woman in the cast, like me, Charlotte and Maddie, who played the stepsisters, everybody would just fell in love with you as a person. Like
me. Oh, thank you so
much. No, seriously,
much.
like Charlotte and Maddie and I would be like, oh my God, she's so badass. Like we just like seriously.
I've always loved your choice of music in your films. This one in particular, I mean, again, not spoiling anything, but the first opening number is Rhythm Nation, Janet Jackson. How long did genius, by the way, how long did it take for you to pick and choose and decide and work with your team about what you were going to include as it pertains to the story?
It took as long as we were given time to do it. Like we had these deadlines, so it felt like it did take a long time. It was quite a puzzle, but not like it wasn't able to be stretched out because we had a short prep period. But like Somebody to Love and Rhythm Nation and You Gotta Be were the only ones that I knew for sure I was doing. And then everything else had to be figured out. And then of course you're dealing with like rights of songs and which ones you can get and all that kind of stuff. But it was quite a puzzle because I had to really make sure that the songs felt like as part of the scene. They had to forward the story. I was actually in a Barry's boot camp class when I heard Rhythm Nation, and I was like, this can be the opening of our of the movie. And I mean, I was just like listening to everything. I think you can really tell that this was made by a progressive mom. Like my song selections are like songs that I really love and growing up, and like even like You Gotta Be and Material Girl and Let's Get Loud. Like they were just like songs that I really like.